whatever you're doing, stop because I have something exciting to share with you today. If you're ever in Fort Lauderdale and you're thinking about transportation, it's not all about Uber and Lyft or the public transportation or renting a car. You have to try out the water taxi. Yes, I said it. Water taxi. Hey everyone, welcome to my channel, and today I'm gonna share with you my experience of the Evelyn Water Taxi Pass. The water taxi offers an all-day pass where you can enjoy unlimited rides from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. and explore South Florida at your own pace, up on and up off as you please. The Fort Lauderdale all-day pass includes Hollywood and Pampano beach routes. This costs $40 per adult, $20 per child. If you're senior or military, it will be $35. They also offer a multi-day pass, perfect for visitors or locals looking to explore at a leisurely pace. Enjoy unlimited rides for 30 days from your first scan. And this costs $140. Then you have the Evelyn Pass. Experience the magic of South Florida's waterways at dusk and after dark with unlimited rides from 5 p.m. to 10 p.m. Perfect pairing with the happy hour drink special. And this costs $25 per person. They also have an annual pass for $600 or $50 a month. Water Taxi of Fort Lauderdale has been an icon in South Florida for over 30 years, offering year-round service, private charters, venue options, and special event transportation. Based in the yachting capital of the world, Fort Lauderdale Water Taxi has the largest passenger fleet in South Florida. Known as the Venice of America, Fort Lauderdale is best explored from the water. Their narrative excursion provides historical insight and fun facts about the city's attractions, including mansions and mega yachts. With 20 stops in Fort Lauderdale and one in Hollywood at the Margaritaville Hollywood Beach Resort, Water Taxi offers a unique way to see the city. They also operate a complimentary water trolley supported by the city of Fort Lauderdale with 8 stops along the river route. Over 60 partners across 20 stops, each one offering unique ways to save during your visit, and all of which enhance your time with Water Taxi. Each trip is a new experience.
And a lot of them buy their own private islands, or at least a little piece of the island. So Disney, we just signed a 15-year contract with them. We got their brand new ship, the Disney Magic. That comes in right over here on the right. I'm going to put it right here. You'll see the red lettering. And so with that contract, they put up this big building on the right here. You see the crane on top of it. That's an 800-room hotel. And all this construction in front of it, that's going to be a brand new convention center. So all set up. We actually hold the record for the most people offloaded and loaded in a single day, which is over 50,000. Which is pretty remarkable. The entire population of Fort Lauderdale is a little over 200,000. Now, a lot of these boats, these big ships are out there going to have anywhere from 2,000 to 5,000 passengers. The biggest cruise ship in the world is called the Icon of the Sea. That actually goes out of Miami, and that has over 7,000 passengers. And you're going to have half that in crew. A lot of these cruise ships have water parks on them. They have climbing walls, basically like little shopping malls inside of them as well. And you can see the police right here blocking us off. So when all these big ships go in and out through the inlet, the sheriffs actually lead the way, right? If you were to get hit by one of these boats, you wouldn't even ship the paint. You're probably better off getting hit by a train. So if they think you're going to run into one of these boats, the sheriffs will actually ram you to get you out of the way. Now you'll notice there's no tugboats on these cruise ships. So if you look at the front where the anchor comes out, you'll see 4 white X's. So that's where these things have thrusters. They also have one on the rear here. So these boats, when they come into the port, they can actually turn and navigate. A lot of these big container ships that come in here will have a tugboat requirement on them. They don't have thrusters powerful enough to move these hundreds of thousands of ton loads. It's like a bicycle when you stop moving. They basically can't turn. And all these ships are going to have a boat pilot on board. They are a resident expert of the port, so they live here in the port. They'll hop on board these ships. They'll go up to 6 miles offshore, and then they'll hop off on a Jacob's ladder. So if you've ever seen those videos, it's like 3 o'clock in the morning, it's pitch black, there's 20-foot swells, and they're trying to jump off the side of the ladder onto the boat. That's what the boat pilot is. Very bad day. Either your ship is going down or you're about to get a huge ticket. So they do have submarines that are in the Navy. They will patrol off in international waters off of our coast. And if they try to find out who you are, identify you when they can, the Coast Guard will go out there and intercept you. You can see the big white one here. It's got the 2 machine guns mounted on the front there. Oh, it looks like they're having something going on. Quite a battle out there. And we have our second celebrity cruise ship going out. These guys go by and make sure you wave at all the celebrities. And you can see it's a lot like an airport, right? You got the gangways coming in and out. You got the control tower over here. So that control tower looks like the cross on top of it. That's where the harbor master is. So he's the guy in charge of the port's logistics. He's a numbers guy. How much do you think it costs these cruise ships to park here for a day? Any guesses?
100,000.
10,000? That's a lot. It's $50,000 a day to park here.
Wow.
So a lot of them are in and out in like 12.
Wow.
24 hours. Oh, on our left here we got Gilligan's Island. This is actually for law enforcement. This is their own private beach they get over here. You can see everyone up there on the bow of the ship. They're doing like the Titanic, I'm sure. Right, they're doing that.
Still not over.
Now the main ones we have come down here for ships is we got the Royal Caribbean, the Celebrities here, Disney, and the Princesses. And the Princesses are really cool. They got a laser drone show, so when they go out at night, all these drones go out and do this amazing light show. There's Captain Morgan right there. And all these orange things right here, these are their lifeboats, right? So these guys will, these little lifeboats, you can have over 300 people on each one. Yeah, keep in mind this boat right here, the most people we can have on board is like 55. So you're like a little can of sardines in there. So here on our right, this is where all of our tugboats are kept. This is kind of the center of the port here. These tugboats have almost 7,000 horsepower. They have 3 6-foot propellers that are 18 feet down underneath the water. So these are like little icebergs, right? There's more boat underneath the water than above. And that gives them all that torque and pull to push these giant cruise ships around. These tugboats are also omnidirectional, so they can move totally sideways with the boats if they want. They can even spin like a top. I have seen them get angry at people. 2 of them thrown out, they'll pull up in front of the boat and they'll start spinning and honking their horns at you. So, and they have giant hydro cannons on the side there that'll fire out like 500 feet. Huge streams. Very cool. Very desirable job to become a tugboat captain. A lot of these guys work 2 weeks on, 2 weeks off, and averages out to be about $80 an hour. A lot of them will spend up to a decade on these ships before a position will open up. People either retire or pass away before they give up that job. Now down here in the port, we've seen some of the nicest yachts in the world. So we had Jeff Bezos' sailboat over here last November, which is worth $500 million. It's 450 feet long. It has 3 giant masts. They were filling it up over here. Even with a sailboat, right? They still got motors on there. It took them like 7 semi-trucks to fill it up. Now, my favorite fact is not even the boat itself. It's the shadow yacht, or the toy yacht, that follows it around. So it's a sailboat. You can't land a helicopter on it. So his toy yacht has the helo pad, and he's got 12 jet skis. He's got 2 skiff boats and a submarine attachment for when he gets bored. We've also had Mark Zuckerberg's yacht down here, the founder of Facebook. It was just a couple months ago. He's got a 380-foot Fed ship worth $300 million. The Fed ship is the highest tier luxury yacht in the world. It's like the Rolls-Royce of yachts. So he got lucky. A Russian oligarch had actually purchased the boat. A lot of these Fed ships take 5 to 10 years to get. They're all custom made. And when the Russians went to war with Ukraine, all their money went into the war effort, and the boat went up for sale, and then Zuckerberg came in and got it right away. Now, we're coming up on the southern end here. You see where all of our container ships come in. So these cranes over here are 170 feet tall, which sounds pretty big, but most ports are 270 feet. And the reason is because of the airplanes, right? So we got the airports less than a mile west of here, so there's special air traffic regulations they have to adhere to. So these light blue cranes were made by China. They spent 6 weeks on the Pacific Ocean. They came through the Panama Canal, and when they arrived, they were fully assembled. They just brought them right off the boat. Now you see this big container ship with the tug next to it. That's the biggest size, basically the biggest size ship we get in here. So that's a Panamax. That's over 1,100 feet long, 80 feet wide, and can have up to 1,600 containers on it at once. Now you see that red line right there? That signifies a full load. So if that was to drop all the way into the water, you can't see it. They're at max capacity. So this guy could probably take a couple 100,000 tons. And they're taking it off right now. Oh, wow. It's rare to see one that empty actually coming off here. And you can see them blowing out the anchor, so when these guys are waiting offshore, they'll drop the anchor, and usually it's 7 times the length of the depth. So say it's 100 feet, you'll put out 700 feet of anchor, right? And they blow out the anchor lines with that water to get all that muck off the chain. And you can see the front here, it looks like a hot dog coming out the bottom. That is a wave breaker, so right, that's going to kick any debris out there on the ocean that you hit, as well as kick the water out away from the front of the ship, making these guys about 17% more efficient. So they save millions and millions of gallons of fuel over the life of the vessel by having that front on there. Now we see the crane working right here. These guys work 12-hour shifts, 2 hours on, 2 hours off. They have amazing precision. Their ability to perfectly line these containers up off and on these semi trucks. It's like an assembly line basically. And just keep in mind for scale, every one of those containers is a full semi truck load. So when you pass those on the highway, right, there's a couple hundred on this one ship. 85% of the things we own in the United States are imported. It's considered the safest way to deliver goods internationally. They do lose a few thousand of these containers in the ocean every year, sometimes intentionally. So these guys, not uncommon, end up in 180-foot waves out there in the Pacific. So they will scuttle the ship. They will keep the cheaper, lighter containers on the outside edges of the ship, and they'll throw them overboard. And they don't go looking for them. They don't salvage them. The pressure of the ocean will crush the containers to smithereens. And then the insurance will write it off as a loss, so they'll just get paid right back. There was a famous story in the Pacific where they scuttled a ship and it was filled with rubber duckies, and millions of rubber duckies were washing along the Alaskan Washington shore. Pretty funny. Now this port is also the main port for the Chiquilla banana. If you live east of the Mississippi, your bananas come from right here. There'll be more than 100 million in our port at any given time. They come on one ship called the Chiquilla Explorer. They come from South America, and the reason your bananas stay green all the way from South America, they suck all the oxygen out of the containers and put nitrate in there, and it basically halts the aging process of it, as well as killing off a lot of those creepy crawlies, right? If you guys seen a banana spider, you know what I'm talking about. Now, a lot of people ask me about these cranes. Are they magnetic? Or like, how do they pick them up? So they have little forks on each corner that will grab in there. If they're magnetic, right, and they pick up a bunch of electronics, it's going to fry the electronics. Or if they got a car, these guys move 4 cars at once, it'll start picking the cars up inside the container. Now here's another cool thing you guys probably didn't know. So if you follow the lines from the seawall all the way up to the top of the ship, you'll see it looks like orange toilet seats on the lines. You see that? So those are rat guards. So you go to some of these ports and the rats will climb aboard the lines and they'll get on your ship. And if one rat on board can be totally catastrophic for your crew, you go on a long, 6-week expedition, these rats get thirsty, they might end up in your water tank and they can't get out, right? You'll be drinking rat goo the whole trip. The whole crew gets sick. So that's one of those little things you would never think about that makes a big difference for these guys. And this little guy right here, this is a Caribbean Warrior. So these guys run non-stop down to the Bahamas. They go into these smaller ports. They don't have, 25 feet of draft like a lot of these big vessels. They got less than 10. These guys are constantly delivering tankers, buses, school trucks, some nice Mercedes, some BMWs. People want to retire in the Bahamas. They want to drive their nice car on the island, right? So very cool. And down this inlet right here, so this canal, this actually wraps all the way around to where our stop 1 is. So if you guys went to Las Olas on our trip and you were to take that down, this is where you'd end up. This is where all the yacht repair is done. So Fort Lauderdale being the yachting capital of the world, we're also the yacht repair capital of the world. Anything that breaks on a yacht can be fixed right here in town. And most of these yachts go through what's called a refit. Every 10 years, they'll tear all the electronics out and do a full upgrade. There's a lot of nice boats out tonight. So this is pretty cool. So this waterway that we're on is over 3,000 miles long. It starts up in Massachusetts. It runs parallel with the ocean, wraps around Florida, and ends up in Texas. It's called the Intracoastal Waterway. And 95% of it is man-made. So the entire port, everything we're on in the Margaritaville trip, this is all man-made water. It was passed through Congress in 1919, and it was finished in 1949, so it only took them 30 years to do this entire waterway. It's incredible. It was built for military application, so they want to be able to transport things up and down the coast without being out on the ocean. It is a massive security buff. During World War II, the Germans, the Nazis, had killer submarines called U-boats, the wolves of the sea, they call them, and they sunk 80% of all supply ships on the Atlantic during that time. a little wave warning, guys. We're going to have a little bump here. That guy's trying to get pulled over.
Minimum wage. That's a little more than minimum.
The cops down here love those guys. They pull them over all the time. And they hate jet skis. If you guys run a jet ski down here, you're going to get pulled over. They hate it. So, the reason there's not a bunch of hotels and buildings on the left side here, in between us and the ocean, there's a 50-foot wide creek that runs over here. It's called Whiskey Creek. This is where all the rum runners would come and hide their illegal barrels of alcohol during the Prohibition. Everyone used to call Fort Lauderdale Fort Liquordale back in the day, right? I guess they still do. But the guy in charge of the operation was Al Capone, a.k.a. Scarface. He had a home in the Everglades about 45 minutes southwest of here. And he would come up here and he would pay everyone off. He would line everyone's pockets. And the joke was if you couldn't find alcohol in town, just ask the police, right? They would actually guide the ships in here. Ironically now it's a port, so it's called Whiskey Creek. You can't even drink over here.
One of the most notorious things.
Yeah, the mouth of Whiskey Creek is going to be on the left here where this bridge is. You can see the little boat here with the octopus on it. So these guys are mooring here. They basically have the best retirement plan out there. They get to live rent-free. There's no charge for up to 30 days on these boats. The only deal is after 30 days they got to move their boat. But they never said how far they got to move their boat. So he goes from this side to a little bit closer and then back. And then you see the nice big Richard L. Beckler towboat we got here. So this is a heavy-duty one. When your boat sinks, goes to the bottom of the ocean, these guys send scuba divers down, and they hook up these air bladders that will bring your boat up to the surface, and then they will do repairs on it. They get 17% of the total value of the boat that they salvage. So you salvage a multi-million-dollar boat, that's a big payday. And when these guys are on-site salvaging, they get a bonus $200 an hour.
Wow.
Now we're getting ready to go under one of our couple bridges here. So all the bridges on the Intracoastal, they open and close. So this is also part of the Great Loop, which is over 6,000 nautical miles. So you start wherever you like. You go all the way to the Mississippi River. You take that up north through the Midwest to the Great Lakes. Then you head through the Great Lakes east and you'll end up at where the locks are. Then you can take the locks down. Very popular thing to do in the mariner industry. And it'll take you about a month to do, right? And there is no charge to open these bridges. You just radio up to the tower, you let them know you're coming through. And it's a two-step authentication process. They actually radio a guy in Jacksonville with a code, and then they will open it up for you. They have it set up that way so you don't have some maniacs opening all the bridges, right? Everyone gets stuck on one side. Here's a nice place on the left, Tiki Tiki. You want to give a shout out? We'll count to 3. 1, 2, 3. Hey, Tiki Tiki! Woo! Hey, Tiki Tiki! Woo, Tiki Tiki! That's a great spot. All these places on the water are really good, but that place is exceptional. So on the right here, you guys, I'm sure you saw that construction down there. All these brand new rock reinforcement seawalls here, the environmental protection area. This is part of a $140 million project by the state. This is the Anaclogue Park. So they're putting a bunch of pathways in here as well, getting rid of a bunch of... And there's someone on the roof. Santa Claus. Yeah, so this is going to be for the manatees. They're cutting out these environmental protection areas. They're planting seagrass in there. 90% of a manatee's diet is seagrass. So they're just trying to get them away from the canal. Their greatest predator is a boat propeller. So you'll see a lot of them will have dings. They'll have scars on their back. Will get hit by boats. It is their migration season, so they are down here. There's a few thousand of them. If you guys go to Miami, you'll see a ton of them. The water's a lot more clear over there. And tons of dolphins. Now we also have the third biggest barrier reef in the entire world off of our coast. It's over 160 miles long. Number 1, of course, is in Australia. Number 2 is in Belize. And so you can go fishing out there. You can charter one of these boats out on our left. This the lowest end here is a drift boat, so they'll go out there. They'll do a couple of floats for like 4 hours. And if you catch some fish, they'll clean them for you. They'll fillet them. And then a lot of the restaurants around here, you bring the fish in and they'll actually cook it for you. So you don't got to bring fish back in your suitcase to the airport. And this is a dinner boat right here. So this is the Sir Winston 1. This was originally the Grand Princess. It just got purchased like 2 weeks ago. It's like $40,000 for an evening on that. So yeah, people get married, they want to have their wedding reception on a yacht, they cruise around the Intracoastal. It is absolutely beautiful on the inside. Now on our right side here, this is actually a big sandbar right here. There's over 80 sandbars in Fort Lauderdale along the Intracoastal. A lot of them are really good party spots. I'm sure you guys saw Beer Can Island. There's probably a bunch of boats out there. They have little tiki boats that'll show up, which are floating bars. So you can go swim over. It's only like waist deep water here. It's really, really shallow. Well, actually, we would run aground if we went over there. And then they have Jay's Sandbar Food Boat, which is a little plane on the water. You get yourself a hamburger, some buffalo wings, some tacos or something. What they don't tell you though is a lot of these sandbars, they don't, like a lot of these boats don't have bathrooms, right? So you're gonna find the sandbars are always a little warmer than anywhere else, right? We're also the #3 destination spot for bachelorette and bachelor parties. So we'll see them out there having a good time or honking out. Usually a lot of bad decisions being made, right? But the #1 down here is not wearing sunscreen, right? People come down here, they get absolutely barbecued. Those, 12 hours drinking on a sandbar, not good for your skin. You'll end up on these cruise ships. They're like vampires their whole vacation, hiding from the sun. Now, if you were to head due west of here, you would actually see the Hard Rock Casinos just over here. It's like 15 minutes from where we drop you off at. It's like a multi-billion-dollar building. It's shaped like a guitar. So if you guys have been to Las Vegas, the Hard Rock there is the guitar. We have the same thing here. And you'll see a big skylight at night shining up in the sky. Those are the strings of the guitar. So if you guys like gambling, go donate over there tonight. Now this through here is a wake zone, so you go up to 25 miles an hour through here, through a 15-inch wake. So you'll see almost all the boats over here, they're all on ladders, right? The ladders where it takes you up out of the water. And there's a fun fact, there is no owner's license requirement in the state of Florida. So you can buy and own a boat. You don't need any sort of certification or anything like that. But you are still liable for all the damage your boat causes. So if you don't know better, you go by one of these marinas and you throw a big wave, you damage some of these sled ships, you have to pay the bill, right? So you might end up be working for that your whole life if you don't know better. See the helicopter over here? Get quite a few of them out here. During football games, we'll have the Goodyear blimp that comes out here that'll float around for like the Hurricanes, the U, or for the Miami Dolphins. We'll see them floating around. And for you that are curious, so there's like these greens pilings with the squares on them and the numbers. And then like on our right side, we'll pass the orange triangles. So the orange represents land side and the green represents ocean side. So right, this is a long body of water. That's how you always got to make sure you know you're going the right way. And the markers are numbered so that if something happens to your boat, you can call the Coast Guard and they know exactly where to come get you. Now down here, there's a ton of invasive species. The king of the invasive species is the Burmese python. You guys heard about our python drop down here? So with those Sandbars tours where you go look at the gators, that's the Everglades. And they've had a research center get blown over in a storm, and all these pythons got out. And they're the longest snake ever. They've caught a few over 18 feet long. Like, right, it's like trying to catch a tree. And they eat 98% of the fur population in the Everglades. So you're not going to find any mice or squirrels or beavers. They're all gone. The only 2% left is the panel. And because they've eaten all the good food, they've actually started eating the alligators. Right, so the snakes are winning, essentially. So they put a bounty on them. The python cowboys will go down there, catch them with their bare hands. Pretty wild thing to do. And you make a little money doing that. Another invasive species we have down here is the iguana. I'm sure you guys have seen some down here. The reason they're invasive is they will ruin your yard. So they'll chew up palm trees, they're vegetarian. The number one though is they ruin seawalls. So they'll dig out the backsides of seawalls to put their nests. You know, you got to dock your boat, the whole seawall falls in. That's a bad day. Now usually under this bridge we got a couple of them hanging out. It might be too cold for them now, but we had a couple big orange ones on here earlier. We'll see if we can spot any of these iguanas.
Oh yeah.
See him?
Yeah.
See a big one over there.
Oh, you did see one? Oh, okay.
And like,
They also tend to hang out in the trees over here, so...
right in the tree.
Yeah, so you see on the left here, that big orange one?
Yeah, he's got a striped tail.
Oh, that's... Never mind, those are birds.
You've seen that one in that halfway.
Yeah, so when it drops to like... Oh, there's an orange one. On the left side here. You see them?
That one.
Yeah.
Orange. Yeah.
So the orange ones are males. They're trying to get a girlfriend. Yeah, they kill them because they're invasive, right? And they actually they call them the chicken of the tree. Some people eat them.
Look at the Hollywood sign. That's cool. Hollywood, Florida. We're just cruising around.
So this is a fun fact. I came down here to kind of scout the area to buy a place, and I got an alert on my phone that said frozen iguana warning. So when they freeze, they fall out of the trees and they knock people out. I thought it was a prank. And all right, guys, welcome to Hollywood. We are here. So hopefully you guys are hungry because there's a lot of great places to eat here. We're going to be dropping you off at 5 o'clock somewhere. It's a little bar restaurant. They are owned by Margaritaville, which is across the street. There should be a bunch of live music on tonight, right? On Fridays, it can be absolutely amazing out here. If you guys are craving a big meaty hamburger, just head south. We're headed south, by the way. On the water, you got Le Tubs, ranked the best hamburger in 2006. A little further south from that, you got Billy Stone Snow Crab, which is a great spot to grab some seafood. And further south from that, you got Gigi's Waterfront. A little fancier, but all these places are part of our cruise and save. So if you show your water taxi ticket, you'll get 10% off. Now, if you're looking to just walk around and explore, just head east to the ocean. You'll see the big boardwalk out here. You can walk around, get an ice cream, get some memorabilia, go dip your toes in the sand. And they actually have filmed quite a bit of movies out here, so it really resembles the boardwalk in Venice Beach, California. So it's actually cheaper to fly to the other side of the country and film here than in Venice Beach, right? Pretty crazy. So they filmed the Fast and the Furious 2 here. They filmed All About the Benjamins. They filmed Beach Bum. And the brand new Bad Boys movie that just came out. They filmed a few scenes over here. See True Lies? I think that was in the Keys. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's the Keys. And all right, folks, we're getting pretty close to our stop. We'll be there in about 5 minutes. So just here's a heads up of what to expect. If you guys are looking to get back to Fort Lauderdale tonight, our next boat will be back at 8 o'clock, and then the final one-time night will be at 10 o'clock. If you take the 10 o'clock boat, we will take you to stop 4, but then the water taxis will be closed, so you'll have to come to stop 4. So if you're looking to take the Lauderdale trip, make sure you're back here before 8 o'clock, all right? And it's going to be me and Cameron the rest of the night. Now have a wonderful time down here in Hollywood. I'm sure you guys are going to see a ton of good live music down here. The bands were awesome. And thank you so much. Thank you.
Okay, folks, we have reached our destination and we are going to take a walk around the area and we're going to find a restaurant. But I'm going to do a video of that for you. Stay tuned. And yeah, I just want to say this was an excellent experience. The video coming up is going to be when we are leaving at 8 because we did not stay long. We were drained. But hey, he still gave us a tour. You have to do this. Stick and stay. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe. All right, the video is coming up right after this.
Earlier this year, they had the Baltimore Bridge got knocked out by Panamax. A couple of people died. It's a multi-billion-dollar mistake. And a big part of that, no tugboat, right? So the boat lost engine power, kept flickering on and off. You have a tugboat out there, you can strap onto it and push it away. Here's the tugboat coming around. You see this guy can basically drive sideways if he wants. And he's going to position right behind this guy. And he's going to follow him all the way through the inlet. And think of like a bicycle. So when these vessels aren't moving forward, they cannot turn left or right. If you're on a bike, right, you stop moving, you just kind of fall one way or the other. So these guys are going to wait till they need to turn, and then the tugs are going to press into them and turn them, get pointed up through the inlet, and they'll be on their way. And you can see on the left side, you see the Jacob's ladder hanging off there. So that's for the boat pilot. So this guy will get up to like between 1 and 6 miles offshore, and the boat pilot he's sitting up there with the captain and he's just guiding him out through the inlet. Hey, you need to watch out for this. You know, the tides are rolling in like this, you gotta lean over here. And then once they get out there, the boat pilot will come to where the Jacob's ladder is and he'll get off. Now it's nice in here in the Intracoastal, you feel all that wind. Get out there in the ocean, we're talking 15-foot waves. And it's pitch black out there, right? So these guys got pretty dangerous jobs. It's pretty rare, but every once in a while, you know, a pilot will fall, the ship goes in and smacks and kills them. So you gotta make sure you're physically fit for doing jobs like that. Plus, obviously, everything's wet. Out the side there, and you can see how all the water is white. It's getting kicked out of weight. That makes these boats much more efficient. As well as if you hit something big in the ocean, right, it's not going to give you the whole Titanic thing, right? It's not going to rip open the side. It's going to bounce off, and then it'll slowly go down the wide outside edges instead of crushing into the front. That are all lit up for Christmas lights for the Christmas tour that we're having tomorrow. Okay.
That yacht, second one there. Yeah. Boat coming.
Okay, we're at the end of the video. Wasn't that fun and exciting? I enjoyed myself. Again, I would recommend this to any and everyone who is in the Fort Lauderdale area. You have to do this tour. Again, this was the evening one. They do offer the day pass where they stop at so many different places that you can just explore. And we will definitely do that the next time we're in Fort Lauderdale. Bye. Love you all.